Hey, it's Drew Neiser, and it's time for another Tuesday tip. We're going to talk a little bit with Carolyn Tien-Spalding of Aptology about how you can hire better and maybe even keep your employees a little bit longer. So, Carolyn, first tip, what should CMOs be doing that they aren't doing when it comes to finding the right person for a particular role?
Really get a crisp understanding of what success looks like for the role, the behaviors, what will actually lead to for this person to be successful based ideally on objective metrics. That's your North Star.
Okay, so what's interesting to me there is it sounds really good, objective metrics, but we know that CMOs don't do that necessarily. What is the opposite of that? It's just, I've got these, I'm looking for these sort of characteristics. I mean, where do they fall short typically in that one?
Typically, it'll be a either task focused or ideal description of the last things that they've done. And as we know, our field evolves extremely quickly. So what made you successful a year ago may not work today. What got you here may not get you there. And so just looking at the past experience, or you must have 20 years of mobile experience. It really just started 13 years ago.
Right.
Right? These things are shorthand that usually don't quite pan out.
So forward thinking success criteria, number one. Okay, number two.
Really understand the people side of things. I think we are limited by keywords and descriptions, but if you truly understand behaviors and people at work, whether that's communication style or team preferred environment, are you more of an individual person versus teamwork, or do you really need to be social in order to produce your best work and be happy at work? Really understanding behaviors at work is critical to enabling success.
Okay, and so what is it if I'm not understanding the behaviors of of the individual? What am I missing out on, or how does it manifest itself?
The way it manifests itself is feedback on specific hows or tasks in the last day or two versus the general big blocks. For example, a balance of listening and talking versus saying, hey, on this call or in this piece of copy, this could be this tone or that tone. Overall, are you someone who follows up? If so, to what extent? It's not binary. None of us are really just binary.
Right.
So, to what extent these behaviors manifest themselves and why is it affecting the role? I think the best people do this, but it's really difficult to do consistently and at scale.
Okay, so tip number one was forward thinking success metrics. Tip number two was people and behaviors. What's the last one?
Ideally, you would use a third-party system to be able to take out some of your own biases in evaluating people and enabling the team to have better understandings of themselves and coaching to success. That's where Aptology comes in, but there are a number of tools out there to try to help eliminate bias and produce better outcomes.
Interesting, and I appreciate both the commercial that you gave, but also it's true that so many times in so many circumstances, going outside, it's no different than hiring an agency like mine. It helps to have an outside perspective. In your case, you have all this data that can help support making decisions and experience. So, all right, so there you have it. 3 tips on how to hire and then follow up and make sure your employees are as successful as can be. Carolyn, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's your Tuesday tip.